Hi everyone, and welcome to this tutorial on how to write a check. In this video, I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on how to fill out a check properly. First of all, let's talk about what a check is. A check is a written document that instructs a bank to pay a specific amount of money from one person's account to another person or organization's account. It's essentially a written promise to pay a certain amount of money to someone else. Checks typically have several fields that need to be filled out in order to be valid. These fields include the date, the payee, the amount in numbers and words, and the signature of the person authorizing the payment. Checks are still commonly used to pay for bills, rent, or other expenses, despite the growing popularity of electronic payments. They are generally considered a safe and reliable form of payment, as they can only be cashed or deposited by the intended recipient, and can be easily tracked and recorded. However, it's important to note that there are some risks associated with using checks. For example, checks can be lost, stolen, or forged, which can lead to unauthorized payments and potential financial losses. It's therefore important to keep a record of all checks written, and to monitor bank statements regularly to ensure that all transactions are legitimate. Now, let's get started with the step-by-step process of filling out a check. Step 1. Fill in the date. When filling in the date on a check, it's important to use the correct format. The standard format for writing the date in the United States is month, day, year. So, for example, if you're writing a check on March 15, 2023, you would write 03/15/2023 in the date field of the check. Make sure to include the leading 0 for the month and day if they are single digits. This helps to avoid confusion with international date formats, which may use a different order of the day, month, and year. It's also important to note that the date on the check should be the same day that you're writing the check. If you write a check and date it for a future date, it could be considered a post-dated check, and the bank may not process it until the date you wrote on the check. So, always make sure to fill in the date accurately and legibly to avoid any confusion or delays in payment. Step 2. Fill in the payee. The payee on a check is the person or organization to whom the check is being written to. It's important to fill in the payee accurately and clearly so the bank can process the payment to the correct person or organization. For instance, if you're paying rent, you would write the name of your landlord or property management company in the payee line. Or, if you're paying a bill, you would write the name of the company that you owe money to in the payee line. If you're unsure of the payee's name, be sure to ask for clarification before filling out the check to avoid any errors or confusion. Additionally, if you make a mistake while writing the payee's name, it's best to void the check and start again with a new one. Step 3. Write the amount in numbers. When writing the amount in numbers on a check, it's important to be as precise as possible to avoid any confusion or errors. Here's a step-by-step guide on how to write the amount in numbers. 1. Locate the amount field on the check. This is typically located to the right of the payee line, and is where you will write the amount you are paying. 2. Write the whole dollar amount. Write the dollar amount in numerical form, starting at the far left side of the box. If the amount is $50, for example, you would write 50 in the box. 3. Add a decimal point. After you write the whole dollar amount, add a decimal point. This will separate the whole dollar amount from the cents. For example, if you are paying $50.50, you would write 50, and then add the decimal point. 4. Write the cents. After the decimal point, write the number of cents you are paying in numerical form. If you are paying $50.50, for example, you would write .50 after the decimal point. 5. Fill in any empty spaces with zeros. If the amount you are paying does not include cents, fill in the empty spaces after the decimal point with zeros. For example, if you are paying $50 even, you would write 50.00 in the amount field. 6. Be precise and accurate. It's important to write the amount as precisely and accurately as possible to avoid any confusion or errors. Make sure to double-check your work before you sign the check. Remember, writing the amount in numbers is just one part of filling out a check. Be sure to also fill in the payee, date, and sign the check before sending it out. Step 4. Write the amount in words. When writing a check, it's important to not only include the numerical amount, but also write out the amount in words. This is to avoid any confusion or errors when the check is being processed or deposited. To write the amount in words, start by writing the whole dollar amount, followed by the word dollars. For example, if you're paying $50, you would write $50. If there are any cents involved, write the number of cents as a fraction out of 100, followed by the word cents. For example, if you're paying $50.25, you would write $50.25. It's important to write the amount in words clearly and legibly, using proper spelling and grammar. This will help ensure that the check is processed accurately and without any errors. Remember that the amount written in words is the official amount of the check. If there's a discrepancy between the written And numerical amounts, the written amount takes precedence. By including the written amount in your check, you're helping to ensure that your payment is processed correctly and efficiently, and avoiding any potential confusion or delays. Step 5. Fill in the memo line. The memo line on a check is a line provided to write a brief description of the purpose of the payment. This line is optional, but it can be helpful to include it as it provides additional information to the payee. For example, if you're paying a bill, you could write electric bill or rent payment in the memo line. This can help the payee to quickly identify the purpose of the payment and ensure that it's applied correctly to your account. It's important to note that the memo line does not serve as a substitute for the amount written on the check. The payee will always rely on the amount written in both words and numbers to ensure they receive the correct payment. Another use of the memo line is to write a note to the payee, such as happy birthday or congratulations on your new job. However, keep in mind that the memo line should not be used to write any sensitive or confidential information, such as account numbers or personal details. Step 6. Sign the check. Finally, when you write a check, you're essentially giving permission for a bank to transfer funds from your account to another person or organization's account. Your signature on the check is what authorizes the bank to make that transfer. Your signature is important because it confirms that you're the one who authorized the payment. Banks will compare the signature on the check with the signature on file to make sure they match. If they don't match, the bank may reject the check or contact you to verify your identity. It's important to sign the check in the bottom right-hand corner using the same signature you used when you opened your bank account. This helps prevent fraud and ensures that the check is valid. If you've recently changed your signature, make sure to update it with your bank before writing any checks. In addition to signing the check, you should also make sure that all of the other information on the check is correct and legible. If anything is unclear or incorrect, the bank may reject the check or delay the payment. Double-check the date, payee, and amount to make sure everything is accurate before you sign the check. Remember to keep a record of the check and any supporting documentation in case you need it later. And never sign a blank check or give your signature to anyone you don't trust. Your signature is a valuable asset, so it's important to protect it. And that's it. You've successfully filled out a check. Just remember to keep a record of the check and any supporting documentation in case you need it later. Thanks for watching this tutorial on how to write a check. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Don't forget to subscribe for more helpful videos like this one.